One of the biggest complaints I hear about Office 2007 Microsoft Word is the way that it automatically sets the paragraph spacing and the line spacing to double spaced or multiple spaced. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to change your default settings so that way you don't have to deal with that every single time you open up Microsoft Word. So I'm going to go ahead. I have a shortcut to Word on my desktop here. Otherwise, you can go to your Start button and find it within your Programs menu. But there's Microsoft Office 2007. And I'm going to open Word, and now that I'm in Word I can go ahead here. I've got my ribbon up here like always, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the paragraph option here on the ribbon. So I'm on the Home tab. I've got my clipboard, font, and paragraph. So paragraph's where I want to go first, and I'm going to go here to what the paragraph shows, the paragraph dialog box. So I've got two different tabs, indents and spacing and line and page breaks. So I want to go ahead and leave my alignment as is, set up all my options that I typically want in here. The default are usually okay. The main thing you want to look at here is the spacing. So I think typically it says 10 here. I've actually changed my default settings within the program to my liking already. So what you're going to want to do is change it to these settings if you want to have just regular single space document without any space between the paragraphs and everything else. So what I have here is 0 points before, 0 points after. My line spacing is single, and I have a checkbox unchecked for don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. So really simple to change that. If you have that done, that will change it for this document only. But the main thing we want to do here is change it to these options if you want to have it single spaced all the time. And then before we hit OK, we want to look down here at the bottom, and there's tabs, default, OK, and cancel. You also have a preview here of what the text will look like. So if I change this to 18 points, you can see the space that's showing up now between the two paragraphs. So I'm going to go back down to 0, and if I want to change it to let's say 1.5, then it shows that my text is 1.5 spaces in between each line. So we're going to go ahead and go back to single. So that's how I want it. That's the way I like it. That's the way I want to keep it for default. So before we hit OK, because that will change it for just for this document, we want to go ahead and hit default. And then it brings up a dialog box saying, Microsoft Office Word, you're about to change the default alignment, indentation, and spacing of the paragraphs in this document. Do you want this change to affect all new documents based on the normal template? And yes, I do want to do that, because I want everything that I open from now on to be single spaced, no points after paragraphs or anything like that. So I just want to go ahead and hit yes. So that has changed my default settings now, and I can go ahead and work on my document. If I make this document, I'm going to go ahead and type text here, and you can see the spacing between each line is single, just like I like it. And I'm going to go ahead and close out of Word now, and I don't want to save my changes. And had we not done the default option, when we go back into Word, let me go back to my shortcut here, probably the easiest way to get to it. I'm going to go ahead and type now again, and it's just how I want it. It's stayed that way. Had we not clicked the default button within the paragraph dialog box, then we wouldn't have had those settings saved for each new document going forward. So kind of a good way to change your default settings within Word to have that the way you want it to be. And that should do it for paragraph spacing and line spacing in Microsoft Word.